Daniel Rodriguez and Ian Machado Garry minus 262 for Garry, plus 262 for Rodriguez. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 142 for the over, plus 142 for the under. The undefeated Ian Garry stepping in here against D-Rod. 36 years old for D-Rod, 11 years older than Garry, who's 25, 6'3" for Garry, but they come in with the same reach. I'm interested to see what you got to say on this one.
I think I think Daniel Rodriguez is being a tad bit disrespected on the betting lines because he has fought better competition. He's been around longer and he's, pretty tough and strikes really well. Ian Garry is obviously super talented, but he is young, and this is a huge jump in competition for him, in my opinion. He fought Song Kenan in his last fight, found that late finish, but wasn't really getting a whole lot going up until that flurry in the third round that he put him out with. And he got caught in that first round to where it looked like the lights shut off for a split second. He kind of woke back up when he hit the floor. So if you're on the Daniel Rodriguez side, that's what you're praying for. But Ian Garry is fast, man. He throws everything straight down the pipe, which is, he's super technical. And sometimes that volume too will get to guys. I really liked his his volume against Gabe Green. Gabe Green's as tough as they come and was trying to get in his face, and he just stayed composed and patient, which is hard to do like for these younger fighters. Sometimes they get in those firefights, and that's when they end up getting knocked out. But he kept everything tight. He stayed composed, and he ended up getting through a tough Gabe Green. But Daniel Rodriguez, man, even though you might think he lost to Li Jingliang, and I did think he lost, but Lee, I mean, I don't know. Can you even say Ian Garry's better than Li Jingliang with how long Lee's been around, how many good fighters he's fought, and how many good fighters he's beaten? I mean, Ian Garry is obviously talented, but he's still a tad bit unproven to me, just because he hasn't fought these higher level guys yet. Daniel Rodriguez is going to be a hell of a test for him. If he gets through him, then then you can start putting that hype behind Ian Garry a little bit more if you're the UFC. That's a tall task, and I just can't believe he's that big of a favorite against a guy like Daniel Rodriguez. And I'm having a hard time picking against Garry, but those odds are looking pretty juicy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that I'm not like huge on Ian Garry. I mean, I think he's only 25. He's got a lot of room to grow, but I think he knows that too. Like he knows he has a lot that he needs to improve on. But he's looked pretty good in his UFC fights, but not the greatest competition. And honestly, for like the amount of hype that he's been getting, like I would expect more from him. And
Right.
as a better, like you gotta look at that and be like, all right, this guy's getting a lot of hype. He's coming in here at minus 250. Like people see the name Ian Garry, he's a younger guy, and they're like, damn, yeah, he's gonna win 11-0. They know him. But then D-Rod, people know D-Rod too, and they might look at that price and be like, oh, plus 250, that's pretty good. So it kind of goes both ways. But how I look at this fight stylistically is like both guys are volume kings. Like they just go out there and throw volumes. Neither of them are like big power punchers. Both of them land over 6.75 strikes per minute. D-Rod's at 7.42. So D-Rod's got the slight edge in volume. And I look at this fight like neither guy is probably gonna go to the ground. Unless maybe Garry would take it there to maybe show like some improvements, or he just doesn't really like the matchup on the feet, but I don't think he will. So it's probably a stand-up fight, and D-Rod's got the slightly better volume. 3-round fight plus 250, like I think that's the play. Like I don't think I could go to the judges' scorecards at minus 252 with Ian Garry against D-Rod, who is going to be throwing a shit ton of volume. And this fight is favored to go the distance. So they're basically saying this fight's going to go to decision. Ian Garry at minus 252, there's no fucking way I'm betting that. I'm sorry. There's no way. Because I just think I need to see more from him. And I saw a video today of him basically saying he wants like 6 or 7 more fights before he gets a title shot. I'm like, I don't really know. I mean, I get like you want to get the experience, but what does that tell me as a bettor? Like, okay, you're not that confident in yourself. You want to get the experience before you get there. Like, I get that for a fighter's perspective, but for a bettor's perspective, that doesn't really get me fired up. So I'm gonna go with D-Rod's the value play. Like, I'm gonna take him for the pick too. Like, I don't care. The only thing that scares me is that he's 36, but he's been pretty active as of recently, and he's coming off a loss, so he probably wants to get back in the win column. So I'll take him. I'll take him. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to stick with him too. And, you know, Daniel Rodriguez is tough too. So Ian Gary's going to have a tough time putting him down. But I called last week's parlay buster with Jessica Andrade getting beat. And this is an exact same situation. Like, this could be the biggest parlay buster of the week just because the UFC has marketed this kid, the next Conor McGregor. People hear Ian Gary, they see the Irish accent, and they eat that stuff up. So, a lot of people might have Ian Gary in their parlays. They see he's minus 250. Well, a guy like that can't lose as a minus 250 favorite. Let's throw him in the parlay. And then all of a sudden, D-Rod comes along and gives him a long ass night. So, yeah, man, if you're betting on this fight, you can't take Ian Gary at minus 250, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to pick D-Rod too. I think D-Rod, that experience and toughness, he's just going to be there for 3 rounds, and we'll see if Ian Gary can take it.
Yeah, Ian Gary's a good kid, but if this goes to decision and it's 29-28, either way, like, Ian Gary was never the play. Minus 250 is like, I don't know what the odds are off the top of my head, but that's like 75%. This is like more closer to 50, 55, 45, maybe 60-40 type of fight. So all the values on D-Rod.